Right now, minus 38 degrees is hitting parts of Canada, and if you think that is the worst number you will hear today, you are dead wrong. In the next 7 minutes, I'm going to walk you through every major city in this country, hour by hour, so you know exactly when the storm hits your area, when it peaks, and when it finally lets up. But here is what most forecasts will not tell you. There is something happening 50 kilometers above our heads right now in the stratosphere that is about to change the next 3 weeks of winter for every single one of us. I will explain exactly what that is at the 5-minute mark, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. First, drop a comment right now with the city or town you are in. I read every single one, and I will make sure your area gets covered. The more specific you are, the better I can help you prepare. Now, here is your reward for sticking around in the first 30 seconds. The polar vortex, that massive spinning column of cold air sitting over the Arctic, is about to split apart. A confirmed sudden stratospheric warming event is forecast to collapse it by mid-February. What does that mean in plain language? The door to the Arctic freezer is swinging wide open. Prolonged blasts of bone-chilling cold are going to keep pouring into our provinces for weeks. And on top of that, La Nina is fading, which means there is nothing from the tropics to push back against this cold. The Arctic is running the show now. No interference, no relief valve, just raw, relentless winter. Let me prove it to you city by city, starting on the West Coast. And do not skip ahead, because there is a critical twist for Ontario and Quebec coming up that changes everything about how you should prepare for tomorrow morning. Vancouver. You are the lucky ones today, relatively speaking. Daytime highs reaching around 9 degrees Celsius, overnight lows near 2 degrees. Compared to the rest of the country, that sounds almost pleasant. But here is what people forget about Vancouver in February. You are looking at 242 millimeters of rain this month alone, spread across 22 rainy days. That is 3 out of every 4 days with precipitation hitting you. Humidity between 75 and 85%. That damp Pacific chill cuts right through every layer. Winds around 17 kilometers per hour along English Bay. Only about 5 hours of sunshine per day. Keep that rain jacket within arm's reach at all times. Now here is a number that might surprise you. Downtown Vancouver only averages about 13.6 centimeters of snow for the entire month. But head up toward North Vancouver, Burnaby Mountain, or the highway routes to Whistler, and it is a completely different reality. Snow piles up fast, and icy roads can catch you off guard in minutes. Victoria, just across the Strait of Georgia, is sitting around 1 degree overnight with daytime highs between 5 and 7 degrees, light rain developing through the afternoon. Similar story, but slightly warmer thanks to the island's sheltered position. And by the way, if you are watching from anywhere in British Columbia, tell me your exact town in the comments, because the mountain passes and interior valleys have completely different conditions than the coast. And I want to make sure you are covered. Now cross the Rockies, and everything changes. This is where it gets intense. Calgary. Last night, minus 21 degrees with ice fog blanketing the city. Today, the forecast calls for a high of 4 degrees and an overnight low of minus 6. That is a 25-degree swing in less than 24 hours. Only Calgary can pull that off, and there is a reason. Chinook winds, those warm, dry flows that cascade down the eastern slopes of the Rockies, can send temperatures soaring by 20 degrees in just a few hours. When the Chinook blows, people are outside in t-shirts. When it stops, the Arctic takes over instantly. Southern Alberta is also expecting above normal snowfall this February. Blizzard risk is real, especially on the highways between Calgary and Edmonton and out toward Banff. Visibility can drop to near zero. Whiteout conditions. You literally cannot tell where the ground ends and the sky begins. Edmonton. Brace yourself. Last night, minus 27 degrees. Let me say that again. Minus 27. Factor in the wind chill and you are looking at minus 35 to minus 40. At those levels, exposed skin can develop frostbite in as little as 5 to 10 minutes. Environment Canada has issued frostbite warnings for the entire region. Edmonton averages about 17 snowy days in February, and the snow cover on the ground right now is a constant that will not disappear until at least late March. February averages typically sit around minus 7 for highs and minus 15 for lows, but this year those numbers are running well below normal. Layers, face covering, insulated gloves, and limit your time outside. This is not a suggestion. This is survival protocol. Do not skip the next section. What is happening on the prairies right now is genuinely historic. Saskatoon. On the evening of February 8th, the temperature at Diefenbaker International Airport was recorded at minus 38 degrees Celsius. Northwest winds blowing at 30 kilometers per hour, gusting to 41, pushing the wind chill into life-threatening territory. But here is the twist. Tuesday brings a reprieve. The daytime high jumps all the way up to 0 degrees. When you have been sitting at minus 38, 0 feels like a vacation. Mainly sunny skies, a genuinely pleasant winter day by Saskatchewan standards. But do not be fooled. Overnight, temperatures slide right back down to minus 10. This warm window is narrow. Get your outdoor errands done while it lasts. Regina is telling a similar story. Minus 34 on Monday morning. By midday, strong northwest flow pushed temperatures up to about 1 degree, but with gusts hitting 50 kilometers per hour, it felt much colder than the thermometer suggested. Tuesday looks positive, a high near 1 degree under mainly sunny skies. Take advantage of this break because the next cold snap is already building. And for anyone driving outside the city or on interprovincial highways, winter tires are non-negotiable. Keep an emergency kit in the car. Blankets, candles, jumper cables, non-perishable snacks, and a flashlight. This is not overcautious. This is just common sense on the prairies. Winnipeg, the city that earned the nickname Winterpeg the hard way. Last night, minus 30 degrees under clear skies. Wind chill may have dipped below minus 40, which is the exact temperature where the Celsius and Fahrenheit scales actually meet. Here is why Winnipeg's cold is so relentless. The city sits on dead flat terrain at the junction of the Red and Assiniboine rivers with absolutely no natural barrier to block Arctic air. Cold air masses roll straight down from the Arctic without so much as a speed bump. The kind of cold that makes your car tires go square overnight and your eyelashes freeze together. Now we cross into Ontario, and this is where I need your full attention. Remember I mentioned a critical twist? Here it is. Thunder Bay recorded minus 31 degrees last night. Lake Superior, the world's largest freshwater lake by surface area, keeps the lake effect snow machine running nonstop. Tuesday highs are unlikely to climb above minus 15 to minus 20. Snow squalls can fire up at any time. If you are driving the Trans-Canada through this stretch, keep your gas tank full and your wits sharp. Ottawa. The nation's capital is sitting under a thick blanket of snow. Minus 12 degrees last night. Tuesday forecast calls for mostly cloudy skies, scattered flurries, and highs between minus 5 and minus 8. Here is a bright spot, though. The Rideau Canal, the world's longest naturally frozen skating rink, is in prime condition. Lace up, grab a beaver tail, and glide past the frozen locks. That is a proper Ottawa winter morning. Now here's the part that affects the most people. Toronto, Canada's largest city, is in for a messy Tuesday. Periods of snow starting overnight Monday and carrying into Tuesday. Expected accumulation 2 to 4 centimeters. Snow tapering off by early afternoon, giving way to cloudy skies. Daytime high around 0 degrees. Wind chill making the morning feel like minus 10. Here is your timing breakdown. The snow begins overnight, so your Tuesday morning commute is the danger zone. The TTC subway should run on schedule, but surface routes, buses, and streetcars expect delays. The 401, the 400, the DVP, and the Gardner are all going to be slippery before the salt trucks can get ahead of it. Give yourself extra time, slow down, leave plenty of following distance, and if you still have not put on winter tires, today is the day you are going to wish you had. Tuesday night in Toronto, expect mostly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of flurries. The low drops to minus 5. Over the weekend, wind chill values near Toronto hit minus 30. The worst of that blast has passed, but temperatures remain well below seasonal norms. The UV index sits at 1, which is as low as it gets. Crossing into Quebec now, Montreal. Flurries on Tuesday with a daytime high of minus 8 degrees. Overnight, periods of snow and the temperature drops to minus 10. That is notably colder than the February average. Last evening at Montreal Trudeau International Airport, the recorded temperature was minus 11.8 degrees. Wind chill of minus 19. Over the weekend, temperatures plunged to minus 19 with a wind chill near minus 27. Montreal averages more than 20 snowy days in February alone. Autoroute 20, Autoroute 40, and especially the Champlain Bridge connecting the island to the South Shore need to be monitored closely. Clear your car off properly, and yes, that includes the roof. Quebec City, last night, minus 10 degrees. February averages here hover around minus 9 for highs and minus 15 for lows. Expect daytime temperatures between minus 8 and minus 10 with scattered flurries. But here is something worth celebrating. The Carnaval de Quebec, the world's largest winter carnival, falls right around this time. If there is one city in Canada that proves you can have a good time at minus 10, it is Quebec City. Now do not miss the next part. The Atlantic provinces have a completely different story unfolding. Halifax, minus 3 degrees last night, noticeably milder than the rest of the country, thanks to the Atlantic Ocean acting as a natural thermostat. But February is prime nor'easter season. Those massive storm systems forming along the eastern seaboard can dump enormous amounts of heavy, wet snow, freezing rain, and gale-force winds on the Maritimes with very little warning. Stay alert. Fredericton, minus 9 last night, colder and snowier than Halifax because it sits further inland. Tuesday stays below 0 with a chance of light snow. Charlottetown, minus 4 degrees. Prince Edward Island in winter is a quiet, snow-covered landscape, the red soil and green fields buried under white for months. St. John S., Newfoundland. And here is a surprise. Last night, 0 degrees, the warmest reading among all eastern Canadian cities. The warm Atlantic currents keep St. John S. from plunging to the extremes. But St. John S. makes up for it in other ways. This is one of the windiest, snowiest, and most unpredictable weather cities in all of Canada. In January 2020, a record-breaking blizzard dropped over 90 centimeters of snow in a single event. Newfoundland weather does not mess around. Now here is the promise I made at the beginning, the 5-minute mark. Here is what is really happening above our heads. The sudden stratospheric warming event that is splitting the polar vortex is not just another weather pattern. This is the engine behind everything you just heard. When the polar vortex collapses, it does not just send one cold blast. It sends wave after wave over the following 3 to 4 weeks. That means what we are experiencing right now, the minus 30s, the minus 40s on the prairies, the snow in Ontario and Quebec, this is not the peak. More is coming. Mid to late February could bring even colder temperatures and more powerful storms. The 2025 to 2026 winter is proving exactly what forecasters warned about from the start. Deep freezes, heavy snow, and powerful storms running from December straight through to the end of February. Up north, the numbers are staggering. Whitehorse, minus 24, only 9 to 10 hours of daylight. Yellowknife, minus 34. At that temperature, boiling water thrown into the air freezes before it hits the ground. Iqaluit, minus 19 with light snow and only about 8 hours of daylight. Here are your 5 survival rules for the next 48 hours. Layer up with a base layer, insulating layer, and windproof outer shell. Cover your ears, nose, fingers, and toes. Watch for frostbite signs, skin turning white or gray, numbness, stinging pain. Get indoors immediately if you see those signs. Check road conditions before any long drive. Keep an emergency kit in your vehicle with warm blankets, candles, jumper cables, food, water, and a flashlight. If you get stranded, stay with your vehicle. Let your taps drip slightly on nights below minus 20 to prevent pipes from freezing. And most importantly, check on your neighbors. Seniors, young children, people with chronic health conditions, and anyone without shelter are the most vulnerable right now. A quick knock on the door could save someone's life. Bookmark weather.gc.ca and download the Weather Can app. February weather can shift rapidly with an unstable polar vortex. A new cold snap or unexpected storm can develop within 24 to 48 hours. Now here is what is coming next, and this is why you need to follow this channel. Later this week, I am tracking a developing system that could bring significant snowfall to a massive stretch of the country. We are talking potential blizzard conditions in areas that have not seen the worst yet this winter. I will have the full breakdown, including exact timing, snow totals, and which cities are in the direct path. You do not want to be caught off guard. Drop your city in the comments. I personally go through every single comment and make sure your region is covered in the next update. Share this with someone who needs to see it, especially if they are driving long distances this week. And remember, there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. Stay warm out there, Canada. This winter is far from over,